Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Local stories you need to know about. Don't drink the water in this suburb. Well, it's not quite not drinking the water, but officials have issued an alert. A high nitrate level alert were found in the drinking water in the south suburbs, making water especially unsafe for infants under 6 months old. All the recent rains, combined with a spring agricultural fertilization, increased the nitrate levels in the Kankakee River, which then may be harmful to infants. So they fertilize so we can have some food, and then the rain came and washed the fertilization into the Kankakee River where you get the drinking water from, and apparently the filtration system can't get that out as much as we'd like.
Oh, boy.
I know. So if you have an infant under 6 months old, you're not supposed to make formula with that water right now. And they say, don't, it's like, oh, we'll boil it, it'll be clean. No, that makes it worse, apparently. It makes the nitrates worse if you boil the water.
Really? It's like steroids?
I guess. Why, when you boil water for steroids?
No. It's just, it acts as a steroid. It makes it stronger.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. I guess you just got to get bottled water. They said they're having some centers that'll have some bottled water available to people in the area, but it can cause shortness of breath and blue coloring of the skin.
Oh, no thank you.
Boy.
Yeah.
It's like Willy Wonka.
It's pretty terrifying. But then they say, I guess adults can drink it. If it's going to hurt your kid, I mean...
Well, sucks to be them.
I mean, do you test
Well,
it on your
they're trying
kid?
to get rid of us.
Do you
That's
test it
different.
on your kid first, and if they don't turn blue, you drink it? Like,
Why would you test it on your kid first, Brian?
I just don't like the way this is worded. But water, juice, and formula for children under 6 months should not be prepared with that tap water. Bottled water or other water low in nitrate should be used for infants.
That's
said
right. Important message.
Bottled water will be available for families and infants for the duration from noon to 7 at 1000 South Schuyler Avenue in Kankakee. Also in Mantino at 1737 Amberson Road, and also Western Avenue, University Park. So this does affect everybody that has that area by the Kankakee River getting their water, like University Park, Peatone, Kankakee, all that area. Be careful out there. But, yeah, they used to say boil the water. It's fine. Not this time. It turns them into steroids, apparently. God.
You have an Incredible Hulk, baby.
You just wake up, you pay your taxes, and you just want to get a glass of water out of the tap there instead of drinking a bottle of water, and then this happens. It sucks.
I still don't understand why kids can't have it, but adults can.
I guess we can process it better than a baby.
But, man, that sucks to be a baby then.
Well, it also sucks to be an adult that your body can just take the nitrates because we have so much crap in us already, it won't matter.
I guess. I don't know. I'd be bummed out if I was a baby.
Why? Because they
like,
don't even know what's happening.
But that's like, that just sucks. It's another thing you can't have. There's all these rules when you're a kid.
There's a lot of rules.
You're telling me I can't drink the water now?
Yeah.
Oh, being a baby sucks.
Well, they don't know. Like Kenzie said, they don't know what's going on.
It's
They
amazing.
don't know what's going on. They're just yelling. They're very demanding.
They don't have to pay bills. Everything gets brought to them.
I would have thought that by now, science would have evolved to a point where you could give birth to a baby, but then speed up the learning process. Because babies still, they know nothing when they come out. It's isn't that insane?
Everything.
You have to teach them every animals. It's like boom, you're born out of the tree. Let's go. You're alive now. Babies, first of all, they don't know anything. And then it takes them forever to learn anything.
Yeah.
I've always said as humans, we're just like the least successful creature.
Yeah.
Birds are like flying and starting families at 6 weeks, okay? And we're like 18 years, you're just sitting on the couch making bad decisions still. It's like, what's happening here?
Remember in the headlines we talked about those millions of bees that got released in Washington State? And then somebody referenced to me that when a bee is born, it's full size.
Oh, my God.
And so now imagine a human.
Well, that would hurt.
Yeah.
well, Kenzie, you've given birth. Brian and I haven't.
Yes.
Would you give birth to a full-size human if it meant that they were fully developed and you didn't have to breastfeed and you didn't have to give them formula and you didn't have to teach them all these things that you had to teach your kid, but it hurt because you gave birth to a 6'2" grown man?
Yeah, I don't think that well, I don't know how that would fit because it's a lot bigger than me.
But he's bendy. He's going to fold up in there.
They're fold up.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I have said numerous times, because everyone's like, are you going to have more? That's the first thing. Second you give birth, everyone's like, when's the next one? You're like, I can't stand. So just hold on. Let me be able to stand up again. I would love that. And I'm like, I would totally do it if I could give birth to a 1-year-old.
Okay.
But that's still a lot of growth and learning,
it's still
though.
a lot of growth, but it's nice that they're like running around playing. They can have normal food, so you can go to a restaurant and stuff. They like to sleep through the night. I go, The newborns are just good Lord. They're like, it's like giving birth to a gremlin. It's unpredictable.
You're so selfish, Kenzie, that you won't give birth to a 6'2" man.
I don't think I would want that. Would hurt.
But,
Okay.
you know, that's you just not taking one for the team on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm really a selfish wench. Yeah.
That's Brian and Kenzie, Q101. We'll give you that keyword for the When We Were Young Festival, a chance to get a VIP trip right after the Chili Pepper.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Coming up at the end of Music and Entertainment News, we'll have tickets for Halsey at Northerly Island, but let's get to it. Well, Turnstile dropped their first album. Is it 4 years, I believe, Case?
4 years.
They did it on Friday, and they are everywhere. They have exploded over the weekend. I mean, anytime you run any platform, you pretty much saw either Turnstile performing live or the movie that dropped on Thursday as well. In theaters, you can see the visual concert or visual music interpretation at the theaters and have a good time with that. You've heard the song, Never Enough. Oh, I cannot get that song out of my head.
Do it again.
Never enough. Oh.
Well, that was enough. I beg to differ.
Here's another piece of music from Turnstile. Calm down, Kenzie. Turn over a chair. Stop it. Turnstile on Friday.
Did he say this is the girl I want to bang?
No, he said this is where I want to be,
Oh.
which could be banging a girl. We
Yeah.
don't know.
Music is interpretation, Kenzie.
It is.
However you want to read it, you're fine.
I just heard it.
I remember discovering Turnstile 4 years ago at Lollapalooza. Told everybody about them. And here they are now, taking over the world. At Riot Fest, I knew they were going to play that show.
Well, play the presidential music. I mean, this is your band. You've been talking
Yes.
about them nonstop. Whenever Lauren plays them, she goes, "This is for Brian and Dad."
Yeah, it's a band that certainly I knew
Yeah.
when I saw them.
You saw them at Bottom Lounge in 2018. That's your claim to fame.
Oh, I saw them in their home state of Baltimore, Maryland, the home city, I should
Yeah.
say, when I was getting a crab cake. And I heard something about banging a girl in this song. I heard it. And then I was drawn to the garage they were playing in with a crab cake sandwich.
Yeah.
And sat there for the entire set. And I go, you guys are going to be something. Mm-hmm. And they said, nah.
They're like, there's mayo on your lip.
Yep. No, Turnstile, man, just totally taking it. They're so entertaining, so good, that album. And I don't think there's a show coming up in the next 6 months in Chicagoland. They did play Riot Fest a couple years ago. And boy, it'd be nice to have a surprise drop in.
There's nothing announced. That could change any day now. Album came out Friday. Album again is called Never Enough. That's the song we're playing here at Q101 as well. No tour dates announced, but that could change any moment. There's been some scuttlebutt. Yeah.
What is the scuttlebutt?
I can't say. Swear to secrecy.
Because I know my scuttlebutt.
Oh, yeah, because you have sources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenzie, what's your sources say?
I don't know what we're talking about. I really don't get, what?
Okay, more in music entertainment news. Very tragic and disturbing news. Jared Leto has denied sexual misconduct allegations from 9 women. He's been accused of sexual misconduct. The allegations include the assault of a 17-year-old, inappropriate conversations with a 16-year-old. And this appeared to happen 20 years ago, some of them happened back to 2006. It says in the allegations, walking nude in front of a 17-year-old, and sexually explicit conversations with a 16-year-old. Another woman said that she was 18. He took care of himself in front of her and grabbed her hand. Yeah, some really disturbing allegations. He's denying all of them. And it came from a Facebook post in 2012 that somehow resurfaced that a girl said, "You're not really in L.A. until Jared Leto tries to force himself on you backstage in a kilt and a snow hat."
That'll do it.
And I don't know why that all of a sudden just reappeared, one of the accusers, that Facebook post, but it did. And
Maybe
there you
he
go.
canceled an interview with somebody and they're like, you know what? He has to have something negative.
It could have happened. It could have happened that way. we could do more research on that. Maybe Kenzie found the post and reposted it.
My burner.
We
Let me
discussed.
hit retweet.
So we had a discovery this morning that 14 years ago, and then 6 months ago to the minute, the Charlie Sheen interview happened that shook the world, and the highest paid actor on TV was fired from his job after this happened. That would have been 2.5 Men. And this interview happened like a week before he was fired.
I came in this morning at 4 o'clock, and Brian goes, "Hey, did you know it's the 14th anniversary of that crazy Charlie Sheen interview where he says winning and Tiger Blood and all these things?" I go, "Oh, no, I didn't. That's awesome. We'll play that audio today. It's so funny." And when I went to grab it, every headline I clicked on, every news story to refresh my memory was, on this day in February 2011, I'm going, I feel like we got our calendar wrong here. But then we listen to the audio, and it's still so funny that we now, I think, have to celebrate this anniversary of it being, what did you say, 14 years and 6 months?
14 years, 6 months to the minute this interview was released. And then Charlie Sheen was fired a week after that for things he said about the man who created 2.5 Men. It was a hilarious show. But it was not necessarily that stuff that got our attention. It was more things like this.
I think some of those things that you're putting out there are making people think something's wrong with you.
That's up to, that has nothing to do with me, really. I mean, they're entitled to, I suppose, interpret stuff as they must. What are you a doctor of?
Some are saying that you're bipolar.
Wow, what does that mean?
I guess that, you're on two ends of the spectrum.
Wow. And then what? What's the cure? Medicine? Make me like them? Not gonna happen. I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what? If I'm bipolar, aren't there moments where a guy like crashes and like in the corner, like, oh my God, it's all my mom's fault? Shut up. Shut up. Stop. Move forward.
Never has there been an interview like this before. There's been probably some since, but this was certainly a global moment when he was also asked if there were drugs in the house anywhere. This was his answer.
Are there any drugs in this house?
If there
Put that down for a second.
If there are, you better find them and give them to me immediately. No, they're not.
No drugs in the house right now.
Not that I know about. If I know about them, I'll find them and throw them away. It's not a big deal. Ooh, drugs in the house. We're all gonna die.
I love it.
And a lot of that was because leading up to this interview, he was basically there were stipulations in his contract with 2.5 Men that he couldn't do any drugs.
And he couldn't stop doing drugs.
He really couldn't
He
stop.
loved them.
What's addiction?
I mean, think about that. The highest paid actor at that time on TV, and he gets fired. He could have just not done the interview. He could have just played along and made more and more millions. This was epic in the conclusion. Our third clip from that interview.
When was the last time you used?
I use a blender. I use a vacuum cleaner. I use household items. When was the last time I ingested or took drugs?
Yes, when was the last time you took drugs?
Such an AA stupid expression or term. I don't remember. I do not remember.
A week ago, 2 weeks ago,
Maybe a month
2 days ago.
6 weeks. I don't know. It was a couple days before the suits rolled in and said, change it, change everything. We're shutting you down.
Tell me about the last time you took drugs.
The last time I took drugs, I probably took more than anybody could survive.
What are we talking about? How much?
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed. I have one gear. Go.
How do you survive that?
Because I'm me. Because I'm me. I'm different. I just have a different constitution. I have a different brain. I have a different heart. I have a different, I get tiger blood, man.
You don't worry that you're going to die when you take that many drugs?
Dying's for fools.
That's awesome.
Oh, 14 years ago, 6 months to the minute.
Is it weird that I feel motivated though?
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
I need to this is the kind this is how I need to talk to myself, but about things that aren't drugs. You should be I'm gonna win in life.
Yeah,
It's the exact attitude you need to win, but just hopefully don't use it towards being able to take the most amount of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm me. Because I'm me. I'm different. I just have a different constitution. I have a different brain. I have a different heart. I have a different, I get tiger blood, man.
You don't worry that you're going to die when you take that many drugs?
Dying's for fools.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
You can start getting your takeaways in from today's show, 312-591-8300. Text in something that was memorable to you about today's show. Get your takeaways going right now with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, the White Sox went for the first series sweep of the season. They didn't get it, But what a weekend. And let's go to Saturday where Tim Elko had the go-ahead home run. It sounded like this.
Tim Elko puts a charge into this one. Back it goes in center. It is gone! Tim Elko. When he tags it, it goes a long way. His 4th home run of the season.
Now, Elko had a chance to win the game yesterday. Not really his fault, just didn't get the hit he needed with the bases loaded. But he's having a little nice run here with the White Sox. I just feel there's a lot of momentum going on from the Tigers series last week, splitting with the best team in baseball, and then going into this weekend against the Royals. They'll be at the Astros tomorrow night. Also, Pepe the Penguin threw out the first pitch at Sunday's game.
Heyo.
Now, before you try to picture a penguin throwing a baseball, it actually was the president of the Brookfield Zoo doing it. But he waddled out there. He waddled on out.
Never related to something more.
If anybody in the White Sox organization wants myself and Kenzie to throw out the first pitch, Kenzie said she will, quote, waddle on out.
Waddle her fat ass out was the quote. And then Brian gets it.
Oh, jeez. Tim Elko wanted to hit a ball again.
He heard Kenzie's fat ass and got excited.
He would have hit that home run yesterday. Would have won the game.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Sundays, Southpaw celebrated his 21st birthday. That was on Coca-Cola Family Sunday.
They're being tanked at the games.
Made his debut in 2004. What happened after that? Well, the next season they won the World Series. Has been a fixture since then at community events. Case, you are the mascot person here. And
Aficionado is the term. Mascot aficionado.
well, in the quote, it says he's one of the most celebrated in MLB. Is that true? Is he, I mean, you got the Philly Fanatic, and, you know, there's people that are recognizable. Is Southpaw recognized outside of our listening area?
He's got to be on the Mount Rushmore. I'm going to give you the Mount Rushmore of baseball mascots.
Oh, okay.
Philly Fanatic
Yep.
on the list.
Right.
The Green Monster, the Boston Red Sox mascot, on the list because he's a green monster.
I wasn't even aware that they had a green monster named after the part of the baseball field.
Excellent mascot.
Okay.
You put Mr. and Mrs. Met together because Mrs. Met there's something about her. It's like in the movie The Incredibles, Mrs. Incredible. I just like the way she's built.
Is it a baseball?
It's a baseball, but she's like a sexy baseball.
Let me look it up.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up, too, actually, for some material later on.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Lord. What is wrong?
Hey, in the doghouse, huh?
Mrs. Matt.
Yeah.
You know what?
She's not bad, right?
She's got something.
Yeah, you're a drink or two deep. All of a sudden, Mrs. Met's looking like a home run.
Now, do we have Mrs. Met?
Thomas the Train.
Is Mrs. Met unmasked anywhere? Can we?
Well, I don't. It's like learning a magician's secret. I don't want to know who's under the costume. To me, the mystery is the allure.
Whoa. So I Googled that, Mrs. Met unmasked, and it was the original Mrs. Met. And I'm not being ageist, but it's an older lady.
Okay. That's why I wanted to keep the baseball hat on. That's very sexy.
I
like that.
I don't like that.
So Philly Fanatic, Green Monster, Mr. and Mrs. Met, because again, there's something about Mrs. Met. And then I would put Southpaw as the 4th head on that Mount Rushmore.
All right. No, she's a nice lady. I just wasn't expecting an older lady.
Love her.
What is Southpaw? Like, what is it? What is it?
It is a beloved green fuzzy mascot.
But what is it? I know it's green and fuzzy.
But do you understand the name?
Southpaw is when you fight with your left hand.
Yeah, and they're on the south side.
But what is it? I got it. What is it?
Well, here's from MLB.com, which is the White Sox page linked from that. It says they have an interview, 5 minutes with Southpaw.
Good Lord. 7 minutes in heaven, more like it.
And he said, how did you get the name Southpaw? I was born on the south side. I am left-handed, hence the south side. Southpaw is a baseball term for people who are left-handed. I think my parents nailed it, he says. Now, Kenzie, question number 2. What exactly are you? This is big news. If you haven't seen this deep in the White Sox page. He says, that's a funny question. Some people think I'm an alligator, frog, or even a dirty sock. Those are really silly. I'm none of those things. I'm just a big, fuzzy green dude that loves the Chicago White Sox.
That's annoying.
That's what he is.
But you have to be something.
But you can't, somebody can be like, I'm this race. You can't be like, that's annoying. You know, that's
but it's not. It's not even that.
But
he
that's
didn't
what
say
he
I came
is.
from green people.
No, that's what he is.
Well, he's not a race either. He's a species.
But he has a race. He's green.
That's not a race.
But you know how sometimes when people are trying to defend being racist and they're like, I don't care if you're white, black, brown, purple, green. Yeah, it's
purple. They always say purple.
They always say purple. It's like, well, hold on. Let's focus on the races that do exist and be nice to them.
I don't care if you're purple. I know you like Barney, but it seems like you don't like Hispanic people.
So
I have a problem with that.
Just go with black, white, brown. Just start there. Start liking those people.
They just list colors that don't exist. They're like green, purple. I'm like, wait a minute.
You can work on the whole rainbow later. You can do that later.
Yes.
Just focus, yeah. There you go.
Anyway, so Southpaw's a big green guy. It also says that he doesn't watch much TV outside of White Sox games. He likes to spend time outside, and that he loves to eat Dippin' Dots before gates open. But shh, don't tell my boss.
Can you guys? Jason just texted in and said Southpaw is several races. That's why his penis is growing.
There's our first takeaway. White Sox at the Astros tomorrow night. And not to be outdone with some of the wildness this weekend was the Cubs, who, after the Tigers left the South Side, the Cubs met them in Detroit. Could have won that series yesterday, but got blanked 4-0. But again, let's go back to one of the better moments. Seiya Suzuki on Saturday, his second home run of the game. Sounds amazing.
High fly ball, left field, way back, out of here. Seiya Suzuki, second of the day. And the Cubs have opened up a 6-1 lead, a no-doubter from Seiya.
And that's how that game finished, but they lost 4-0 yesterday. But top of the fifth, what people were talking about, top of the fifth, down 2 with a man on second, Nico Horner at the plate. And he watched a two-strike fastball come through. And when you look at the replay, if you're watching on TV, it was way outside the box. And Nico Horner turned to the ump and said, oh, you're not having a good day, huh? And they threw him out of the game. He said, this is not one of your best days. And he immediately said, you can't throw me out for that. And then Craig Counsell went out there, and then he got ejected. I think they all just kind of wanted to get out of there, to be honest. I think it was like come on, let's just leave. But here's Craig Counsell after the game talking about it.
The ejection of Nico was completely unwarranted, and, there's nothing that was said that warrants an ejection. And you can't eject players and affect outcomes of games for no offense. Yeah, he didn't like what Nico said, but it's it just Nico's walking by. What he said is not, it's not ejectable, and you don't just eject players and change lineups and things like that.
Look for the AI umpires to move in next week, take over this mess. It's just like you're really having a bad day. But then again, if I'm an ump, I don't need to hear that either.
You'd have the thinnest skin if you were an umpire.
Oh, there'd be nobody left on the field if I was an ump. I'd be throwing everybody.
No game. The game's canceled.
Yeah. What'd you say to me? What'd you say?
No game.
Have a nice day? I don't like your tone. Out of here.
And then it's 40,000 people throwing their trash at Brian.
Which has happened before. Get your takeaways in 312-591-8300. Takeaways from today's show, something memorable to you. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Lauren on the way and take it to the rest of this day. Remember, tomorrow at 7:10, Clash with Kenzie. Do the trivia, and Dave Matthews Band tickets coming up there tomorrow. And more chances at the When We Were Young Festival VIP trip throughout the day with Lauren and Brian Phillips. Just keep listening. They'll tell you exactly when to listen very soon for a chance at those tickets. Takeaways from today's show, things that were memorable to you. Case, what do you got from the listeners?
Takeaway from Julie from Valpo, first-time texter. Welcome to the party. Her takeaway, he's bendy. He'll fold right up in there. That is what we said if Kenzie were to give birth to a grown man.
Yeah, fit all up in there.
No, thank you.
Kenzie, what do you got on the text line?
Dakota's takeaway, I know you like purple, but you don't seem to like Hispanic people.
Those purple people are never the target of racism.
It's true. They've got it good. Check your privilege.
And finally, Nia checked in and said, takeaway, listen to Charlie Sheen for motivation, but replace drugs, optional, stay by winning, and dying for fools.
Yeah.
Tell me about the last time you took drugs.
The last time I took drugs, I probably took more than anybody could survive.
What are we talking about? How much?
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed. I have one gear. Go.
How do you survive that?
Because I'm me. Because I'm me. I'm different. I just have a different constitution. I have a different brain. I have a different heart. I have a different, I get tiger blood, man.
You don't worry that you're going to die when you take that many drugs?
Dying's for fools.
Dying's for fools. Otherwise, he goes like to a woman interviewer. I got tiger blood, man. What do you want from me? Tiger blood. Case, what's on the podcast?
Well, we have good news for your penis. That is if you have one or if you're interested in one. Good news on the Brian and Kenzie podcast on that front. We also talked, I love this conversation. We had a great conversation about the propaganda you're not falling for this summer. If you see Brian shirtless and in jeans, he is doing his truth. He is not falling for the lies of the mainstream media. We are wishing you luck, Brian. Tons of good stuff on the Brian and Kenzie podcast today. Give it a listen when you have a chance.
Yeah, anytime you want. It's right there waiting for you. Brian and Kenzie's podcast.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.